started watching this series, Midnight Gospel, on Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Have you watched it?
No.
It's like a really difficult series to explain because the creative process of the series, it's amazing. I don't know how they did it, but it's actually like a podcast conversation who that is then animated into life, and but the animation has nothing to do with the actual. It's really a
What's it called?
Midnight Gospel.
Midnight Gospel.
It's about it's the author of the series is this guy called Duncan Trussell, who's a famous
yeah.
podcaster in the US. It's a really good series, and it's only 7 episodes long. It's really hard to watch because it's like a really, like, the episodes are about this really deep stuff, like Buddhist and really elevated concepts that I've never heard in my life.
Yeah.
And one of those episodes is about meditation, and what the conversation it's trying to express is that meditation is ultimately being in the present.
Yeah.
And that is so hard because you got these external forces pulling you into all of these directions, but that's the ultimate goal. And you see a dog walking in the street and they're present, they're fully present.
Yep.
When a dog is walking some place, like, they're not really walking someplace, they're just living, they're just flowing. And for us humans, it's really difficult to get into that point.
Yeah.
And it's a powerful series. The last episode is about the maternal death and losing your mother, and it's a powerful episode, and about aging in general. How do you deal with that? How do you deal with aging, with life eventually coming to an end? Drake and Josh aired almost 20 years ago, so time has really flown by.
It's shocking how fast time goes. You know, it's like you're on a train and it's just and you're never going to go back there again, and it's gone and it's past you, and it's like an instant. But yeah, I just try and keep moving forward, but I mean, I don't know, I think I keep a young spirit, and but I don't know how to explain that. It's strange because, you do wake up and go, wow, like, that was that long ago, and all of this has happened, and it feels like yesterday. Like I said, being on the Drake and Josh set, I mean, I felt like I was there yesterday, when I'm sitting there on the music video, and I'm like, this was that long. It's been this long since I've been in this space, and it just feels like yesterday. So time is a really interesting
concept.
And it's not linear. It's like all, it's kind of, I don't know. It's a really interesting thing when you like take a step back and look at it, but
it's scary also, right?
Yeah, very scary.
There's a line of an artist called Leiva, a Spanish artist, which I really like, and the line in Spanish is, "Paro en la vida, me quiero bajar. Stop life, I want to get down." Like, you feel like you're in a carousel and you're like starting to get this, and like, stop the ride, I want to get down.
Yeah.
But it never stops.
It's not going to stop.
Times continue moving forward, and in a way, it's like a constant preparation for death, because you're dying all the time. Like the Drake that started the episode and the Roberto that started the episode, it's already gone.
Yep.
We're never gonna be that same guy again.
Yep.
And so you're preparing yourself for this.
Yeah, when you think about it, like you think about
scary,
something,
man.
like just the start of this episode.
I don't want to die, man.
I mean, I don't know if I have like a terrifying. I did go through a period of my life where I was absolutely terrified of death and the future, and what does this all mean? It's all going to come to an end, and what is it? And it was really, I would get really anxious and have a lot of anxiety. I don't know why or how that subsided, but there was a point in my life where really that was like all I thought about was just what it might, like, this could be over tomorrow, and what, like, it's going to be, and it's, but I don't know how or why that changed, but it's just when you think about it, like you just said, like the beginning of this podcast, like it was over like that. Like I earlier this morning, I was like, okay, I've got this interview, and now it's done, and now it's like, wait, that time, like it's
And it never
It's a
stops.
blink of an eye.
Like,
And yeah, that's what I mean.
That's the scary stuff.
Exactly.
It never
It's just
stops.
boop, 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 boop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of scary to think of like, oh my gosh, what am I going to wake up to tomorrow, or what's going to happen, or what's this and what's that, but that takes us back to like, we just got to be like dogs.
Yeah, we just gotta be like dogs, and
Yeah.
I don't know if ignore is the right word, but just don't think about the fact that
Well, I don't think it's ignoring. It's like what you were saying. It's like
Accept it.
stay in the
Yeah.
present
Mhm.
because right now is all we have.
yeah,
We can't. I mean, obviously, there's decisions you can make that can affect your future, but that decision has to be made in the now.
yes,
If you're thinking of right now, what's the best, then instead of how is this going to affect my future, or what if I do this, what'll it be like in the future? It's like, well, if I make the right decision now and do this and do that, then I'm thinking in the present, then I don't really have to.
I was actually yesterday before I was going to sleep, I was having this epiphany, and it all started because I finished watching this movie called Society of Snow, which is really good.
Yeah.
You see the movie?
Yeah,
You
it's
watch the
great.
movie? It's and there's a scene in the movie where there's two guys talking in the plane, and one asks the question of what does it all really mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just lost my wife. What's the meaning of that? So I started thinking about that, and I started thinking about this idea of living in the present, because you often, I often value a lot my memories. Like, oh yeah, I'm really glad I did this. I'm really glad I said that. And when you die, memories also disappear. Like when somebody dies, eventually those that information that was stored in his brain is gonna evaporate. It's gonna be lost. So then the memories are not what's important. What's important is just living it. Like it's not even remembering it. Remembering is not important because you're eventually gonna be old or you're gonna die and the memories are gonna disappear. The important part of life is just living it, like being in the present and trying to enjoy it in the moment as much as possible, even though if you're not gonna remember it tomorrow or the next day, just being present. And that's it's hard because we live in a society that's constantly obsessed with documenting everything, and we have cameras and stories and posts, but that's not important.
It's like at concerts. It's like,
and you go to a concert and you're not even listening to the artist. You're just because you feel you fear so much the passing of time that you want to grasp it as hard as possible, and that's why we record videos. But that's not the point. The point is just living it, and eventually everything is gonna be gone. We're not gonna be remembered. No one is gonna be alive to remember us. So,
well, thank you for my therapy session, because I'm taking that with me after this podcast.
I'm struggling with that right now. That's why
I'm definitely taking that one with me.
I'm telling you this. But aging is a hard part of life, but it's also beautiful in a sense. Like I don't know, watching your body age and eventually getting this maturity and realizing that life is really short. It's a way of verbalizing that you're more mature, because when you're young, you think you're invincible. You think it's gonna last forever. You think this youthfulness is gonna last.
And I think that you also, when you're young, and as you grow older, you realize what's really important, and things that you were so upset about, or that you thought, affected you so much. As you grow older, you're like, why did I spend so much time stressing over that when that was like a blip? It didn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like you start to realize what's really actually important, and the relationships in your life, and being in the moment, and the people around you, and experiencing life as it's happening, instead of, like you're saying, I'm just regurgitating what you're saying so that I reiterate it into my brain. But you kind of have a better sense of what really matters. And
that also emphasizes the importance of having good mental health, because in a way mental health is the story that you tell yourself about this whole existence. And it's easy to gravitate towards nihilism or towards really dark thoughts, because the universe doesn't have any responsibility of making you happy. That's your own responsibility. So it's your job to find the right wording to tell yourself the story that this life is worth living, because like I can tell you, like we're in a speck of dust in a infinite universe.
Yeah.
So everything we do is not really important because it's just a blip in darkness, right?
Yeah.
But you can also tell the exact same fact in a different manner. I can tell you, like, we're so lucky that in this whole field of darkness, we're alive in that miniature dot
Yeah.
of pale blue dot, like Carl Sagan said. So what are the chances that we are alive in this time in that pale blue dot? So we must be really lucky.
Yeah.
So it's your responsibility to interpret reality in a way that makes you feel good.
Exactly.
There's this famous quote about this director Jodorowsky that says that if life is a collection of lies, let's believe the lies that makes us happy.
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
ultimately a point.
Yeah.